Jai Hind everyone. Dear students, my name is Dhanabir Singh Bhaloria. First of all, I welcome you all in my YouTube channel. Today we are going to start a new chapter, chapter first of Economics, class 9th. The topic of the chapter is the story of village Palampur. So, dear students, as we all know that India is the seventh largest country of the world. Its area is near about 3.28 million square kilometer, or we can say in other words 32,87,263 square kilometer. It covers approximately 2.4% area of the total geographical area of the world. Our country is also called as the country of villages. Our country has near about 6,40,930 villages. Okay, so dear students, today we will talk about something about a hypothetical village in this session. And as I told you in the starting of this video, the name of the that village is Palampur. So we'll talk about this story. This story is about an hypothetical village. It's an imaginary village. We are having a kind of an imagination of an ideal village. Okay, so we will discuss about something about the features, something about the surroundings, something about the life of the peoples who are living there, who are living there um, in village Palampur. The activities they were performing regarding about how to produce various kinds of crops, various kinds of other kinds of things for earning their livelihood. So what are the various crops they were growing in the fields, the farming in the villages, non-farm activities also. So we'll talk about the lifestyle of the peoples, what activities they were performing for earning their livelihood. Okay, so dear students, we will talk something about village Palampur in this chapter. So with the help of this PPT, as you can see on your screen also, with the help of this PPT, we will discuss some very important contents of this chapter. So in the starting of this chapter, first we will talk about the location of village Palampur. Okay, in the introductory part of this chapter, we will talk about the location of village Palampur. So, dear students, as you can see on your screen, the village Palampur is a village which is well connected with the neighboring villages and towns. Raiganj, a big village, is 3 kilometers away from Palampur. An all-weather road connects the village to a small towns there. Its name is Shahapur. Many kinds of transport are visible on the roads starting from bullock carts, as you can see on your screen also. I am moving to another slide. So some that modern facilities, vehicles of the modern era can be also seen along with the traditional vehicles on the roads of village Palampur. So they are having good connectivity in between village Palampur, Raiganj, Shahapur. Okay. So this is something about the location of village Palampur. That village Palampur is located near another village Raiganj, which is approximately 3 kilometers away from Palampur, and a small town Shahpur is also there. Okay. Now we will move towards the new slides. Here you can see on your slides that peoples are working in the fields, as this is the common feature of the you can say each and every village. If we talk about that or if we imagine about the surroundings of village, we are having a kind of image of the village that peoples are working in the fields. Okay, then that we are having pakka houses, we are having kacha houses, some metal, some in some portions we are having metal road, as well as in some portions we are having unmetal road also. Peoples were that are using various kinds of traditional and modern methods of irrigation also in the fields. Okay, they were using modern tools also, as well as some traditional tools also. So and we are that each and every village in our country, they are having that I mean to say primary school, primary healthcare center, as well as some other panchayat bhavan like buildings in which they used to you can say that go through with various kinds of official works regarding about to manage the that administration at the grassroots level. Okay, so here we'll talk about something more about village Palampur regarding about that the families, the number of families, the peoples who are living there in the village Palampur. Okay, so students, you can see on your screen that there were 450 families were living in village Palampur. Among them, 80 families belongs to upper caste and 150 families belongs to Dalits. Okay, so these families who belongs to different class, they are having different living standard. The upper caste families living, they are having a, you can say, good living standard. They are living in big houses, big pakka houses. They are having you can say that modern facilities in their houses also. They are owning huge land areas. We will read about also about the distribution of land in the coming portion of this chapter also. But they in this slide you can see that these peoples that upper caste peoples, they are having modern facilities in their houses, as well as they are wearing good clothes. Their living standard is also high. And if you talk about the peoples who belongs to Dalit families, approximately one third of that number of total number of families, 150 families belongs to Dalit society, Dalit class. They are leading a very difficult life. They are poor class peoples. They are not having their own land area. They used to work on the field of other peoples as landless laborers. Okay, so this is something about the number of families in village Palampur. So dear students, now we will talk something about the organization of production. Okay, so as you can see on your screen, some factors of production. So the aim of the production is to produce the goods and services that we want. Whatever the things we are using in our daily life, we want in our daily life to use to fulfill our daily requirements, to make our life more comfortable, easy. So whatever the things we are using, we are producing these things at different places, and we are using various factors for producing these kinds of things, these kinds of goods. For producing these kinds of things and goods, we require some factors. As you can see on your screen, that the factors of production we require, among them land, labor, physical capital, and human capital. Okay, so these are the four major factors we need. Okay, and there are some sub factors also that can be included in as sub factors in each and every sectors or in each and every factors. Okay, so here we'll talk about these major factors that we are using for producing various kinds of things at various places. Okay, so land, first we'll talk about land. As you can see in our surrounding, we are having different places where we are producing various kinds of things, various kinds of crops. Okay, whatever the crops we are using, we are taking that agricultural sector as the primary sector that helps to produce various kinds of things. Whatever we are producing in these in the fields, we are using those products as raw materials in industries in the secondary sector for producing various kinds of goods. But the common thing is in primary and secondary sector, as you can see on your screen, the land is a very important common component there. Okay, if we want to produce crops, we want land. If we want to produce goods in the factories, we want land to establish factories, industries. So I mean to say, without land, we cannot produce any crops, we cannot make any factory, establish any factory or industries. Okay, so uh, land is a very important factor, as we can as we can see in our surrounding, that we are using land, this factor, for making farms, fields, for producing various kinds of goods, as well as for establishing industries, factories, for making roads, for the transportation to manage, you can say that these sectors to work properly. Now we'll move to the next one. Here, labor, people who will work for us, okay, who are working in our working places, okay, who are helping us in producing various kinds of things at different levels, in primary sectors, in secondary sectors, in tertiary sectors. So here you can see on your screen that the second requirement is labor. That is, I mean to say, people who will do the work. Some production activities require highly educated workers to perform the necessary task. Other activities require workers who can do manual work. Each worker is provided the labor necessary for the production. I mean to say that as you can see in our surrounding, that we are having different occupational sectors. The peoples used to engage in various kinds of occupations. Some peoples are doing a different kind of other some kind of work. Some peoples are doing other kinds of works. Peoples are engaged in different kinds of activities. So some peoples are doing some kinds of jobs that can be do that can you can say that is not require some kinds of special training. Okay, some kinds of that na ordinary work they are doing, it not required some kinds of any kind of special kind of training or any kind of skill, special skill, that can be you can say done by anyone without having any kind of skill or without any kind of I mean to say any kind of job training is not required. Okay, that can be done easily. But some kinds of jobs in our surrounding that can be seen, you can see also, you can notice also that these jobs require some special trainings. Okay, some kinds of special kinds of skills these jobs are required. So I mean to say we are having people who engaged in different kinds of jobs, they are working as laborers, they are having different standards. Okay, some peoples are well qualified, some peoples are well skilled, they are operating various kinds of new modern machines, new technologies, they are operating, they are dealing with new technologies. Okay, while on the other hand some peoples are doing very ordinary works in factories and at other various places. So people who do work for us, they are called as laborers, and we are having different kinds of people who engaged in different kinds of works in our society, in our surrounding, they are working as laborers. So labor is the second factor. Now we will move to the next one. Now we will talk about the next component, next factor of production. It is called as physical capital. Physical capital can be categorized into two sections: fixed capital and working capital. So as you can understand by the word fixed capital, it means capital will be fixed for a longer period of time, but not in banks, where it is fixed in the form of different kinds of tools, machines, buildings. Okay, so that the peoples who established factories, they used to buy different kinds of tools, different kinds of machines, different kinds of other kinds of technical instruments, and they also form and made different kinds of that working places in the form of buildings. So a huge amount of money invested in buying these tools, technical instruments, machines, and forming buildings. So a huge amount of money invested, and this money is called as fixed capital. It is fixed for a longer period of time. Okay, it is fixed for you can say for managing the production work continuously for a longer period of time. So whatever the instruments, machines, tools, technical things, technical instruments and buildings we are requiring, that huge amount of money is invested, and that money is called as fixed capital. Another sector of that's this physical capital is working capital. Working capital in the I mean to say that raw material and money in hand. These are two different kinds of sections of working capital. Means raw material. Raw material, as we have discussed, that we are requiring raw materials for the regular production of different kinds of commodities and different other kinds of things that we are using. So for managing proper regular production of the works, in factories we need raw material, and for purchasing raw material we need a sufficient amount of money in our hand that we can manage the proper flow of raw material continuously to manage the proper production work. Otherwise, in the absence of that or lack of supply of raw material, or in the absence of raw material, that production work cannot be possible. Okay, so to buy raw materials we must have sufficient amount of money in our hand, as well as money is also required for the maintenance of machines at regular interval of time, as well as we also need money for paying bills like electricity bills, as well as paying the salaries of the workers. So that these are also very important factors of production: fixed capital and working capital. It's a part of physical capital. Now dear students, we will move to the next one. Okay, we have discussed about land, we have discussed about labor, we have discussed about physical capital. Now we'll move to the fourth and also very important factor as like other three factors. It's human capital. Human capital, this is a kind of a word, human capital, which shows something about or describes something about human as capital. So before we discuss about human capital, I want to ask a question to you. Imagine yourself as manager of a company and you are required to hire some people for some particular kinds of job in your factory, in your industry. Okay, so what kind of people you will hire? What kind of people you will appoint for working in your factory? Definitely, you will go for the people who are physically fit, who are uh, having good knowledge about their work, who are skillful, who are laborious, who are, I mean to say that, honest, sincere, and they are dedicated towards their work. Okay, so these are the various qualities you go for. Uh, you can say that definitely you will go for while you are appointing or you are hiring laborers to work or different kinds of people's work in your factories at different level. Okay, so here we are something talking about these kinds of peoples in which we are in which that whatever the qualities we have discussed, the peoples are must have these qualities. Okay, so the peoples with these kinds of qualities, as we have discussed, these peoples are called as human capitals. Okay, so for managing all these factors, land, labor, physical capital, we must need good quality peoples. This is the fourth requirement for managing the proper production work, for getting the proper output, for using and utilizing the proper resources in our surrounding. Okay, so this is the fourth requirement we need in the form of good human capital. Okay, so we need people, as I told you, we need people those who can enterprise or able to put land, labor and physical all together to produce an output, either to use yourself or to sell in the market. So these are the various means that features or the different factors that we have discussed in this section about the factors of production. Okay, now we will move to the next slide. Farming in Palampur. Now we'll talk about farming in Palampur. As I told you in the starting of this chapter, that farming is a very important component and very important activity in each and every village in our country. As like in village Palampur, people were engaged in farming and in producing different kinds of crops. Okay, so if we talk about village Palampur after 1960, there is no land left idle that can be used or that can be used to increase the land area, the farm area for producing, you can say that, for increasing the production, for manage the proper supply of, you can say that, increasing population, proper supply of food for the increasing population. So here that no land is left idle in village Palampur. Okay. Now peoples are not able to, you can say, increase any land area to increase the fields. Okay. So what people will do in that kind of condition, when we are not having enough land area to increase, to produce different kinds of crops, what we can do, how we can manage, because we all know that population is increasing continuously, and we have to arrange proper food supply for the increasing peoples, for the increasing population. For the increasing population, we need to arrange that sufficient amount of food supply. But if we are not able to increase the land area for producing more crops, more agricultural area we require for increasing the production. If we are not able to increase that land area, what we will do to increase the production? How we will manage uh, that the proper food supply for the increasing demand by the increasing population? In that kind of condition, new farming methods can help us in expanding crop production. We can use some new farming methods that really very helpful uh, in producing or increasing the crops. So what are those methods? As you can see on your screen also, that multiple cropping, modern farming methods, modern farming machines. Okay, so we will talk about something about these three things: multiple cropping, modern farming method, and modern farming machines. Okay, so here, dear students, first we will talk about multiple cropping. Multiple cropping means to grow more than one crop on a piece of land during the year. More than one crop to grow uh, on a land, on a proper or in a particular piece of land in a you can say in a duration of a year. So that particular kind of process in which we are I mean to say grow more than one kind of crop. Okay, two three kinds of crops we are producing in an year on a particular piece of land, it is called as multiple cropping. So this particular kind of phenomena is very useful in increasing or producing more amount of crop from that same particular land area in a year. Okay, so this is really very helpful in producing or increasing the production. Okay, now we will move to the next one, modern farming methods. Okay, so if we talk about modern farming methods, you can see on your screen that we are using various kinds of new innovative ideas in the form of various kinds of things like high yielding variety seeds, chemical fertilizers, pesticides. We are using these kinds of things for getting better results in the form of better crops, better good quality crops, as well as good quantity also. So the motive of using modern farming method on the one hand is increasing the quantity as well as increasing the quality of crops also. Okay, so the that I mean to say, in our agricultural sector in our villages, in present times, the farmers are well educated and they know about the importance of good quality seeds as well as different kinds of the chemical fertilizers we are using, the chemical pesticides we are using in our agricultural activity. They know very well that these things are very important, and these things are playing a very important role in increasing the quality and quantity of various kinds of crops, various kinds of that other kinds of that I mean to say that cereals, that different kinds of seeds we are producing in our farms during the whole year. Now we'll move to the next slide. So this helps to increase the yield, the production. Modern farming methods really very helpful in producing or increasing good yield. Okay, and the result we can see in our you can say in our surrounding, in our villages, that now farmers are able to produce more amount of crops at the same field, same place, same land area, same amount of land area. Previously they were not producing the same amount of crop. Now the production has increased at a great scale by using or after using what that we have discussed in the previous slide, after using the high yielding variety seeds, chemical fertilizers and chemical pesticides. देखिए, listen, if we talk about uh, in our country, in our villages, in last many decades before 1960s, we can see that peoples were using various kinds of traditional methods, traditional equipments, okay? Traditional types of seeds, traditional irrigation facilities, okay? Like Persian wheels, and they were using natural manure, okay? That results in low yields, low production. But as we have discussed, after the introduction of high yielding variety seeds, the green that leads to green revolution in late 1960s, it results in the increasing of production at great scale. Okay, now we are producing good amount of crops by using you can say various kinds of modern facilities, modern tools, modern seeds, high yielding variety seeds, I mean to say, and modern kinds of that technologies in the form of tractors, threshers, combined machines, and some other kinds of other technical instruments that makes that process of agriculture easy as well as more effective also. Okay, now we'll talk about farming in Palampur. About in this section, we'll talk about the use of these high yielding variety seeds and other kinds of new technical instruments first taken place mostly in Punjab, Haryana, and Western Uttar Pradesh in our country. Okay, so the output of the use of high yielding variety seeds, first we have noticed at a great scale in form of the increasing of production at great scale, mostly in Punjab, Haryana, and Western Uttar Pradesh. Okay, if we talk about the same kind of result can be seen, I have seen, not I mean to say that that same kind of result noticed in village Palampur, where the peoples previously they were producing approximately 1300 kg per hectare. Now, by using these modern new high yielding variety seeds, the peoples were now they are producing 3200 kg per hectare. Previously, they were producing 1300 kg. Now, they are producing 3200 kg per hectare. So difference you can see. Okay, by using new machines, as I told you, take new kinds of machines. But dear students, on one hand, if we have discussed about the merits, the positive output of the thing of these machines, tools, high yielding variety seeds, and different other kinds of equipments, modern equipments that we are using, and it makes agricultural process very easy as well as effective, as well as we are earning and producing. We are producing good crops, good amount of crop, good quantity and quality of crops, I mean to say, as well as we are earning huge amount of profit. We are having a big surplus of crops that we can sell for earning a good amount of money. Okay, and it helps to increase our economical status as well as our living standard also. But on the other hand, there are some harmful effects of using these kinds of modern kinds of facilities and modern things, high yielding variety seeds, and other kinds of new modern technologies. We that now we can see their harmful effects on our natural resources. Okay, as you can see on your screen, loss of soil fertility due to increased use of chemical fertilizers. Nowadays, farmers are using that chemical fertilizers at great scale. It has increased at a great scale. Okay, for increasing the production and productivity of soil, they are using various kinds of things, various kinds of these kinds of chemical fertilizers for increasing the production. But this results also that affects the fertility of soil. Okay, without using these kinds of chemical fertilizers, we are not able to produce the crop at a crop at you can say that crop of that kind of good quality as well as that kind of good quantity. Okay, so we are now, after using these kinds of chemical fertilizers, we now we can see that we are dependent totally on the using of these kinds of things. By using these chemical fertilizers at some scale, we can see that it affects the quality of crops also. Overuse of you can say that tubewell water for irrigation has reduced the water table below the ground. This also we can see that for you can say growing the high yielding variety seeds, we are using or we require more amount of water, more amount of tubewell water that we are you can say digging out from the from our land for the irrigation, and it leads to reduce the water table below the ground. So it I mean to say that on one hand, if we talk about the positive outputs, the merits in the form of good quantity and quality of crops that helps to increase and improve the economical status of the farmers, it's okay. But on the other hand, we cannot ignore the harmful effects of the use of these modern farming instruments, chemical fertilizers, high yielding variety seeds on our soil fertility as well as on the water table below the ground. Okay, now we'll move to the next slide. Dear students, now we'll talk something about the topic about the land distribution in village Palampur. As in the starting of this chapter, I have given an introduction of the families, 450 families who are living in village Palampur, and something we have discussed something about the land distribution among these families. So here, with the help of this image, you can understand about the distribution of the land among 450 families. Okay, so as you can see that the blue color showing here about the landless farmers. Okay, so these are the you can say that landless farmer families who are owing no land for cultivation. Okay, they were basically Dalits, and they were working as landless laborers on the field of other peoples, on the field of commercial farmers, big farmers. Okay, so these 150 families among the 450 families, they are landless laborers. They owned no land for cultivation. Okay, they are completely dependent on other peoples for doing work in their farms, for earning money for managing their daily livelihood. Okay, now we'll move to the next one. Next is small farmers. As you can see here, 240 families, they own land less than 2 hectares. But this is not enough for managing or to fulfill their basic necessities. Basically, it's to fulfill their daily requirements, to manage uh, you can say that good living. So in that kind of condition, these peoples used to work on the field of other peoples along with their fields also. I mean to say, they are working on their field as well as they are working on the field of other peoples also whenever they are getting time, leisure time. They used to work on the field of other peoples also. Okay, so 240 families belongs to you can say that small farmers category who are owning land less than 2 hectares. Now we'll move to the next one, the 60 families. 60 families are medium and large farmer families. They own, some of them own more than 2 hectares of land. They are medium farmers. But some farmers are rich farmers in the same category, and they are owning more than 10 hectares of land area. Okay, so they are rich farmers, they are commercial farmers, and they are producing huge amount of crop, and they are having a huge amount of surplus that they are using to sell in the market area to earn good profit, and they are using this earned money, this huge profit, to invest in purchasing new instruments for that for their fields, uh, good quality seeds, good quality instruments, as well as they are investing in other business also. Okay, so they are earning huge amount of profit by earning good surplus by using various kinds of new technical instruments, high yielding variety seeds, good irrigation facilities in the fields. Okay, so their production is very high as compared to uh, poor and small farmers. Now we'll move to the next one. Just a minute. Now we'll talk about labor in Palampur. Okay, labor means the peoples who are working in different fields, okay, and for earning their livelihood. As I told you in the starting of this chapter, we have also discussed some of the points related to labors also. Some peoples who are working at different places, they are called as labors, and maybe they are skilled, they are unskilled also. Okay, and they are hired for different durations also. Here you can see on your screen landless farmers, small farmers, medium and large farmers that we have discussed in the previous slides. So laborers in Palampur, small farmers, those who are working in the fields and earning that for you can say that now for earnings just for fulfilling their basic requirements of their family members. Okay, so they are very small farmers, they are having a very small piece of land area that they are using for producing various kinds of crop or a small the crops at a very you can say that small level, and they are not having enough amount of surplus that they can use to sell in the market area for managing a good living standard. No, so they are very small farmers, they are having that fields or land the land for cultivation less than 2 hectares. Okay, so whatever that they are producing, that is only you can say that used to manage their food supply. Okay, so to fulfill their other requirements, they used to work on the field of other people's also. Landless laborers are small farmers who will work on other fields. Okay, as I told you, whenever they are required to fulfill their other demands, to pay the fees of their wards, to if they require any kind of medical help, or if they require money for some other kinds of needs, to fulfill other kinds of need except their food supply, they used to work on the fields of other peoples, on the fields of medium and large farmers. Okay, employment duration in Palampur. Now we'll talk about the employment duration that people used to hire other peoples. As I told you in the previous slide also, rich farmers, middle class farmers and rich farmers used to hire peoples because they are having huge land area, large farmers, commercial farmers, they are having huge land area, and they used to hire other peoples to work on the fields. So they used to hire peoples for different duration. Okay, some rich farmers used to hire people for the whole year. Okay, as you can see, this farmer is employed for the whole year. They employed for the whole year. Some employed for the season, some employed for a single day also. So peoples or the laborers can be employed for different duration. Okay, they can be employed for a year, they can be employed for a season, they can be employed even for a single day also. Dear students, now we'll talk about uh, the requirement of capital in the production of various kinds of crops by the farmers at different levels. Okay, the money is required by the poor farmers as well as rich farmers also. Okay, so most of the farmers, small farmers, have to borrow money to arrange for the capital. Whatever the capital is required in the farms for by the poor farmers, by the you can say that small farmers, they require whatever the amount of money, they are completely totally depend on large farmers. Okay, large farmers and big farmers, they are taking loan from them, they are taking loan of that whatever the amount of money they require. They used to take loan from these big farmers, money lenders at a high rate of interest. As you can see that taking loan from the banks, it is not an easy job in our country, because banks require many, you can say that many documents. Okay, even in our countryside areas, in many villages, even people don't know about the documents. They are not having these documents. So in the absence of these documents, uh, the peoples are not able to get loan from the banks easily. So in that kind of conditions, people are forced to take loan from money lenders, from rich farmers, big farmers at high rate of interest. Okay. So most of the small farmers have to borrow money to arrange for the capital. They borrow from large farmers or the money lenders or the traders who supply inputs for the cultivation process. The rate of interest on such loans is very high, and they are put to great distress to repay the loan. Whatever that they have earned after selling the surplus, they have to pay, you can say, a big amount of their saving, big amount, not saving, big amount of their earning in paying the debts. And they will remain in the same position. They will remain in the same condition. So, means the if we see at a broad level, after the whole process of taking the or borrowing the money from money lenders and doing and investing in the agriculture and waiting for the whole year, they are just get a very a small amount of money as their savings, which is not enough to increase or to improve their economical status. Okay, so how we can expect that their economical status can be improved by this particular kind of agricultural system they were following. Okay, so now this is the result that in our present time in our country we can see many people, many farmers from our countryside area, they are migrating from villages to the towns because they are not getting enough amount of uh, production in their fields, which, to manage their daily expenses, to improve and to increase their living standard. So now they have decided to do, or to, you can, to start some other kinds of jobs, to do some kinds of jobs in nearby towns, cities, or some other places. So they used to migrate from villages to the towns, and this is a very big problem for the peoples who are living in villages as well as the peoples who are living in the towns also. Because when the peoples from villages migrate to the towns, they increase the you can that population of towns and put it a kind of a burden on the resources in the towns. Okay, and create some kinds of problems for the people's population who are living in the towns. So in that kind of condition, government is planning now, as and also government has started some kinds of policies like Narega, National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, by which the government is giving jobs to the peoples in the village itself. So along with their agricultural activities, along with rearing cattle, they can also perform some kinds of jobs in which they get assured employment for 100 days. Okay, and they can earn, uh, you can say that, something for their daily expenses. Okay, now we will move to the next one. Students, now we will talk about some non-farm activities in village Palampur. As we can see in our surrounding, if we see outside our house, we can see that there are many people who are engaged in different kinds of activities for earning their livelihood. Some people engaged in dairy farming. Some people used to engage in some shopkeeping, transportation, small scale industries, selling fruits and vegetables, and some other kinds of jobs they are doing, along with some other kinds of that work they are performing or doing in their houses for earning their livelihood. Okay, so I mean to say that people were also engaged in village Palampur in some kinds of activities other than farm activities. Okay, so these are non-farm activities. So among them, First, we'll talk about dairy farming. Some people were engaged in rearing cattle, used to, and to produce milk, and they used to collect the milk and used to sell it to that nearby town Shahpur for earning some amount of money for managing their daily expenses. Okay, so dairy is a common activity in many families in village Palampur. People feed their buffalo on various kinds of grass and the jowar and bajra that grow during the rainy season. The milk is sold in Raiganj as well as in Shahpur also. The nearby, these are the nearby places where they used to, you can say, sell whatever the amount of milk they have produced in their village. Two traders from Shahpur town, they have set to collect milk from Palampur for the chilling centers at Raiganj, from where the milk is transported far away to other places, to other big towns, other cities. Okay. Now we'll talk about the second one, manufacturing, small manufacturing industries in village Palampur, small manufacturing sectors in village Palampur. At present, less than 50 families approximately were engaged in manufacturing in Palampur. So manufacturing in Palampur involves very small production methods and are done on a small scale. They are carried out mostly at home or in the fields, and mostly the family members only engaged in these kinds of activities, because they are, you can say, very common peoples, poor peoples, and they are not having enough amount of money to invest in these particular kind of small scale industries. So whatever that the money they've invested, so they are by investing the small amount of money, their earning is also very less. ठीक है, very that less earning they used to make, they are getting from these small scale industries. So in that kind of conditions, they are not able to hire laborers or other people. So in that particular industries, or in that particular kind of sectors, the family members itself, they are engaged in these kinds of activities, small scale industries. Okay. Now we'll move to the next one, the shopkeepers in village Palampur. Listen, my dear students, as we can see in our surrounding, shops, small shops, big shops can be seen. Even in our villages also, the village that shops can be seen at. You can say now we can see at a great scale. Some big shops are also there. Some small shops are also there. But in village Palampur, the shops are not at a very not in very good number, but shops are still there. Okay, the people who engaged in shops, they used to buy, uh, you can say that goods from wholesale markets, wholesale markets from that town Shahpur, and they used to sell it to the people who are living in the village Palampur. You can see on your screen also. People used to purchase, shopkeeper used to purchase goods from supermarkets or some wholesale markets from the towns, and they used to sell these various kinds of things that we are using in our daily life by adding their profit to the village peoples. Okay, so in that kind of condition, some people were also engaged in these kinds of activities. Now we will move to the next one. The fourth one is, some people also engaged in some kinds of transport sector, some kinds of transport activity. Okay, they are earning their livelihood by earning some kinds of earning money by helping people to move from one place to another, by helping people to carry their goods, heavy loads from one place to another. Okay, by helping farmers to carry their surplus to the nearby town, that village Raiganj, or nearby town Sahapur. Okay, so these peoples, the peoples who are engaged in these kinds of transport activities, they are also earning that good amount of money by helping peoples to move from one place to another. Okay, so dear students, this is that something about the village Palampur. It is an hypothetical village. We have discussed various features in this village, in this you can say video about village Palampur, and we have seen that this village is having an image of an ideal village, having almost all the basic facilities, including education, healthcare, including you can say good irrigation facilities, including you can say metal road, including shops, including other kinds of that non-farm activities peoples were engaged, like dairy farming, like small scale industries, like transportation. We have also discussed that peoples of different classes, different categories are living all together. Okay, the land was distributed among different you can say classes. Okay, and peoples were engaging in different kinds of activities for earning their livelihood. So dear friends, this is all about this chapter. Thank you very much for watching this PPT, this video. Thank you very much. Goodbye.